Hello, and welcome to Nerds Explain It All. I'm Steven,
I'm Zach.
And I'm Nancy.
and today is our second official trailer talk. It's just a few days after the Super Bowl. There were some new trailers there. We're going to talk some Fantastic Four, some Terminator Genisys. We're going to talk some Tomorrowland, and we're going to talk some Jurassic World. Bum, 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 bum. And then Steven's going to have a little rant later on.
Oh, but
Oh.
I get to talk about heroes then.
Uh,
If you want your
If we have time.
rant, if you want your Daredevil rant, I'm gonna have to talk about Heroes Reborn.
My Daredevil rant is going to take 5
Oh,
seconds.
the Daredevil.
We'll get to it. Well, just
Okay.
stay tuned to the end of the show for those nuggets of greatness. So
Wow. Yes.
so let's jump right in there. Fantastic Four. This film is coming out in August. So
Yeah.
and we are getting our first trailer at the end of January. So that is in and of itself is kind of a red flag. But all that aside, as a trailer, I thought this was a good trailer.
It was a good trailer. I was rewatching it today, and had it on, and my wife was sort of looking over. And I'm like, "This looks good, huh?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's Fantastic Four." She's like, "What?" Because as we all know, the other ones were horrible, and so this movie has a lot of proving itself to do. And they started off on the good right foot, at least in my opinion, because this trailer was awesome. It was like, I want to see this movie now. I don't even like the Fantastic Four. I think they're stupid superheroes that should all die.
Agree. Well, I don't think
You
they
guys
should
hate the
die.
Fantastic Four?
Well,
Yes.
I just don't have any feelings about them. I know when we saw the first films, I don't know. I can't really get into. We were talking about this like a couple days ago. I can't get into the Fantastic Four because Steve and I were like, they're just a little cartoony. Like some of
Yeah.
the, it's too close to the cartoon border for comic like stuff for me. I can't really take them seriously. Although I will say that I didn't take Reed Richards seriously at all until he showed up in a lot of Invincible Iron Man arcs that I was reading last year, and then I was like, oh, it actually adds some dimension. He's
Yeah.
actually kind of an interesting dude. Like I didn't know anything about him. So this
Yeah.
trailer,
Before
like,
it was just like,
way
I'm
better.
stretchy. Ah,
Yeah, it's
I'm
so stupid.
stretch.
But now it's kind of like, yeah, after I feel like there's probably some depth there, this trailer makes me feel like since they went like ultra serious with it, like for real.
Yeah, they really Nolanized it to the point of
Right,
having
but I think they
clips
needed
from
to.
Inception in the trailer, I believe.
I think they had to get away from what they knew was the negative perception.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
This is the Batman Begins to the Fantastic Four, Rise of Silver Surfer, Batman and Robin. I mean, that's what this is.
Totally.
Now, I think as a franchise, the Fantastic
Mhm.
Four really has the deck stacked against them because
Absolutely.
Yes.
those last two movies. You know, when the first one came out in 2005, I actually kind of liked it. I mean, it was
That was 2005?
Yeah, I know, right? It was harmless fun. You know, it wasn't. It wasn't god awful or anything.
But we weren't taking those films seriously the way that they're taken like today.
Yeah, it was
So-
a pre Nolan world, pre Marvel Universe world.
It was.
MCU.
Right.
Now, when the second one came out, I was like, oh, this is garbage. So no
Yeah.
surprise they didn't make a third one. There was zero demand for it. So it has those two strikes against it. Also, the Fantastic Four are not owned by Marvel Studios; they're owned by Fox. So they have been kind of kept out of the superhero renaissance we're experiencing right now.
That's okay.
And then thirdly, they are super old. They are one of the first Marvel superheroes created. Like Stan Lee created them before anyone else in Marvel, and they were Marvel's first family. You know, they came out in like the
shows.
early
So
'60s. Yeah, that's why they're so
shows.
outdated. I mean, that's why they're very. I mean, people say Superman is out of touch. I think the Fantastic
No.
Four is out of touch.
No, because they've consistently done like, yeah, Superman's the same, but at least they're like news stories. There's just always, I don't know.
Well, I never connected the Fantastic Four. My first real exposure to them was like I had like a Marvel coloring book or something when I was a kid. I was like, "Who's this rock guy? Is this the Hulk? Who is this guy?"
Who the hell's this guy?
Yeah. Ben Grimm is the only interesting character because anytime you have someone who's ashamed of their superpower, that's interesting. But you got stretchy, flamey, clear, and
They're not the X-Men.
clear girl.
What do they
Clear
call
girl.
you? Wheels?
If we're talking about the trailer here,
Yes.
Yes.
The Fantastic Four are lame, and they may be interested in this movie. Like, I'll probably see this movie in theaters. Maybe, I don't know.
So
Maybe,
I mean,
probably not. But
right there, that makes it a successful trailer. I mean,
yeah,
I
Totally,
agree.
yeah.
If I didn't know anything, I didn't know what this was, I would be like, this looks like a cool movie. I mean, I like space and sci-fi. We all do, obviously. And they have the astronauts going in there. There's obviously some kind of accident.
Yeah, that looked rad.
I will say that if the thing says, if we're talking about the trailer here,
yes.
The Fantastic Four are lame, and they may be interested in this movie. Like, I'll probably see this movie in theaters. Maybe, I don't know.
So
Maybe,
I mean,
probably not. But
right there, that makes it a successful trailer. I mean,
yeah.
I
Totally,
agree.
yeah.
If I didn't know anything, I didn't know what this was, I would be like, this looks like a cool movie. I mean, I like space and sci-fi. We all do, obviously. And they have the astronauts going in there. There's obviously some kind of accident.
Yeah, that looked rad.
I will say that if the thing says it's clobbering time. First of all, don't say it in any trailers. I don't think it will.
You save that moment for the movie, yeah.
I think they're gonna have to save it for like the very end. Like they beat Doctor Doom, and then something like a new thing springs up like at the very end. And they're like, he's like, it's clobbering time. Then they run off to go fight it.
And then smash cut to the title.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, I mean, even in Christopher Nolan's Batman, he says, "I'm Batman." And that's the equivalent. So I definitely think they got to throw that in there, right? I mean, there really is no other catchphrase for the Fantastic Four. So the cast in the new Fantastic Four movies, the old ones I thought were perfectly cast, except for Jessica Alba. I think we can all agree that she was pretty terrible as the Invisible Woman. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, she's horrible and everything. I mean, okay.
She is. She's pretty, but she's horrible.
A bad actress. She seems nice. She's pretty. She played Honey in that other one movie, Honey, and but all in all, she's not very impressive.
The rest of the cast I think was great. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Honestly, it was forgettable because I didn't care about the characters.
Well,
I'm with you though, but they had to I agree, but I think obviously since they were taking this new film with like the younger stars, they really had to. Well, young-ish looking, I would say.
And that's the thing. I mean, I was about to say they're doing that all the time, but they're kind of not.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Marvel verse is they're all older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all like adults. The DC, they're all adults. If you're not counting like Arrow and
the DC
Flash.
DC television skews young, and DC cinematic universe skews old.
But they so it's actually kind of refreshing to see teenager kids. Although I don't understand why they're gonna be a part of this experiment.
Well, I think they're not teenagers. They're probably in their late 20s, and
they are. And all the actors are in their late 20s.
Right. That would make sense. That stands to reason. And then there's obviously going to be some flashbacks in this film because you see, I guess, young Reed Richards doing some kind of experiment, which will no doubt tie into the climax with a solution of something. Now, I got a Super 8 vibe from those scenes.
Yes,
did you
me
guys?
too.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And the aforementioned interstellar clips in this trailer of a car driving through a cornfield and astronauts. So
oh, I know, right?
that was very strategic marketing, I think. I'm like, oh man, yeah, people. I mean, seriously, if you told me this movie was directed by Chris Nolan, I would believe you. Just based off this trailer, which is a compliment. So
now, in the original storyline, don't they go into space and cosmic rays?
Yes. Now,
yes.
Well, I will step in as the historian here since Lance is not here. The original Fantastic Four, they go into space. Okay, this was the '60s. No one really understood
like cosmic rays.
Yeah.
Oh,
They got hit by
you have cancer.
Cosmic rays, and they crashed to Earth, and they all had different powers, and it was just the four of them. Now, Doctor Doom was a completely different, unrelated thing. Now, the previous films, Doctor Doom got his powers with the Fantastic Four, so it was kind of a mix between the original Marvel Universe and the Ultimate Universe. And now in the Ultimate Universe, what happens is they all enter something called the Negative Zone. And as you can see, they don't really... There's not a big spaceship or something like that. It's just they enter another dimension, and something goes wrong, and that's why they get all their powers. And it looks like there's more than 4 people going on this trip. So Doctor Doom is definitely going to be among them. And let's just cut to it. The rumors were he was going to be a computer hacker and a blogger. And
that kind of fits with what else we know.
You know, if he does that on the side, I guess that's cool. Like one of the big problems is Doctor Doom is one of the best villains in comic books, and he's been done zero justice outside of the comic books. No,
tell.
No, he is. I mean, he's a ruler of a foreign country.
Why?
Well, he's a megalomaniac, first of all. So
isn't he like the prince or king of some weird country?
Yeah,
yes.
Latveria.
Latveria.
And he's brilliant. I mean, he's basically he's Lex Luthor if he was a he's Lex Luthor with diplomatic immunity. Okay, and he's got the whole Reed Richards.
It's just been revoked.
Thank you, Steve. He's got the whole best friend arch nemesis thing going with Reed Richards. He's got a Professor X, Magneto, Lex Luthor, Superman in some interpretations vibe. So I think that makes him a power villain. And
well, hopefully they do him justice then.
Well,
because they certainly didn't in the film.
And I will say it's a shame that the Fantastic Four are not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because if there's one thing they're lacking, it's good villains.
Yes.
They have Loki, and they keep flipping him back. They're turning Loki, and we'll get into Heroes later, I hope, but they're turning Loki into Sylar, basically. And they're like, oh, he's good, he's bad, he wants to do good, he wants to do bad, you know. They're using him too much. They're overusing him and it's diluting the character if they keep down the path
I
they're
agree
going.
with that, but I don't agree
with that.
I don't agree that the flip-flopping makes him weak. I don't
they're going to get there. That's what I'm saying, if they keep this up. So now that he has basically killed Odin and taken over Asgard, he needs to stay a bad guy until the end. Now,
he is bad people can still make good decisions, and good people can still make like evil decisions. I think that was kind of the point.
No, let's do third-dimensional. Let's keep our movies two-dimensional. Bad guys are bad, and they talk with an English accent. I'm going to get you, He-Man.
I really liked Hugo Weaving as Red Skull, and I hope he does come back in some capacity because he got sucked into the cosmos, so he can come back. But outside of that, Thanos is lame. You know, they really haven't established him as a threat. I don't even know the guy's name from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Damn it!
You know,
yes.
Elf King, Lee Pace.
You mean my amazing Lee Pace?
Yeah.
His name's Ronan, I think.
Ronan the Accuser, right?
That's it.
Forgettable, right?
His makeup was rad.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then the Elf King. Not the Lord of the Rings Elf King I just mentioned. The actual Elf King from Thor 2, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. I asked for 50 cars. I want 50 cars.
Look,
do not remember.
Not 49 and a half cars.
What his name was.
So clearly, and don't even get me started on the Iron Man villains. Okay, other than Jeff Bridges, they're all suck.
Yeah, you started.
So
don't want to get me started.
Well,
all
the Iron Man villains are dead, right?
Well, all the Iron Man villains are Iron Man. First of all, that's the problem.
Well, that's true.
So anyway, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is lacking in great villains, and Doctor Doom in the right hands and the right approach can be. So let's hope that they embrace. I know this is Christopher Nolan eyes, but let's hope they embrace kind of the iconography of Doctor Doom. Like let's see, the metal mask and the cloak, and and him being a ruler of a foreign country. Now, if you see in the trailer, Kate Mara, who's playing the Invisible Woman, she's in some kind of control center, and if you look at the screen she's looking at, Latveria is pointed out on the map. So that could be a plot point, or B, an Easter egg for the obsessive fans to appreciate and never be mentioned again. So we'll see. Now, the person doing the voiceover here is actually
Ian,
Mr. Storm, Johnny's dad and Sue's adopted father. Now, if you haven't noticed, Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are brother and sister always in the comic books and other movies and interpretations. Here, they are of different races. So we have gone the Flash route and had a black family adopt an orphaned white child. So, whatever. That's cool. I would have been fine if they just made the whole Storm family black. I don't know why we had to make the Invisible Woman white, and adopted. Can we just have a black Invisible Woman?
Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know.
It's like, you already made the Human Torch black. It's really not that big. It's stretched to make his sister.
Maybe it was just trying, innocently to have, a mixed race fam. That happens.
And I guess they couldn't make the Thing black because he would just turn into a rock monster and it wouldn't really count after that.
Yeah, no, that would not work.
But, when the Human Torch is using his powers, he's a big flame. So, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Diversity's great, fine. And the guy playing their dad is cool. He's been in a lot of episodes of Law and Order SVU as a lawyer. So for the bad guys. So he's got a cool narrating voice. He's the guy doing the narration.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this movie. I have no expectation, but looks pretty well put together from here.
I agree.
I think this could really be a sleeper success. I don't think normal people even knew this movie existed and was being made. I think we only nerds like us were aware of its existence because of the internet.
People.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying. I think
but people at large, you mean, are not like they don't care.
Yeah, people at large, didn't know
Agreed.
and they didn't care, and they probably wouldn't have cared if this trailer had been so good, because they're going to see it and like, oh, that looks interesting. It looks like Interstellar. I liked that. That's what people say. I didn't like it, but I'm sure most people did. So, okay, so what's next, guys?
Terminator Genisys.
Oh, no, I'm going to sit out on this conversation.
Terminator Genisys, where everything looks amazing except for the name.
You have nothing to say about the Terminator, Nancy?
I'm still offended by the title.
Okay,
it's horrifying.
Title aside, what'd you think of the trailer?
I guess it looks okay.
Well,
you guys, I don't care about the Terminator, so it's hard for me to...
Neither does the American public at this point.
Okay. Would I go see that movie based on the trailer? Yes, I would.
Yeah.
There.
So we've talked about the trailer before. There was a new spot in the Super Bowl trailer. There's not much to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I want to talk about is who is the villain. Because before now, we've said, oh, look, it's another T-1000. This time he's Asian, which is great. And but now it's on there. It says it's like new threat, and then it shows this skeleton walking through. He's not even walking through flames at that point, but he's walking, and he looks like he's got some sort of skeleton. And it's covered in like the T-1000.
Yeah,
now,
it looks like liquid metal forming over solid metal, which would indicate a TX.
But I think it's more advanced than a TX because before you've seen it where he does stuff that only T-1000 can do. So I think it's going to be a completely different.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you might be right. I think it might just be the
TX failed as a villain, so they're not going to go back to that. And what is he going to do? Like he looks at a poster, he's like, I'm going to increase the size of my package. Hey, can I get it off this ticket? No.
Well, I think, Steve, it might just be the new special effects for the T-1000.
That might be true.
Because that's the only indication we have any other Terminator in here. Because basically, we see the Asian T-1000, and then we have old Arnold, and then we have young Arnold who gets dispatched quite quickly by old Arnold. Which I hope they draw that out a couple minutes. I mean, come on, Arnold versus Arnold. That's what we've wanted forever.
I don't. Here's how I want it to start with him appearing, just like the other movies, right? He appears, and then he's like looking all good, and then he just gets shot in the fucking head, and then he's done. He's dead.
Okay.
And it's just like no, because seriously, because it's like this is different, this is new. Let's get going. I don't
but you can't spare 5 minutes on Arnold versus Arnold. I mean, come on. That should have been Terminator 3, Arnold versus Arnold.
True.
I won't disagree with you there, but you really wanted old Arnold versus naked Arnold fight? Because it's kind of close in there.
Yeah, this trailer, like you said, Steve, I don't think there's anything new in this trailer other than like the shot of Arnold getting out of the car on the Golden Gate Bridge. I think that was the only different shot. That and the T-1000 TX shot.
And so there's really not much to talk about. I will say that I'm totally okay if it's just a regular T-1000, nothing new. Because the T-1000 was the best Terminator. Because it was just like, oh my gosh, you can do freaking anything. The TX I thought failed. Yeah, it was like, why would you go back? What more than should she offer?
Well, here's the problem. T-1000 was a stretch anyway because it was supposed to be an advanced prototype, the last ditch effort from Skynet. So it's like, okay, I'll buy that. But then it's like, oh, here's the TX. It's even better. And it's like, when did they have time to make that and send it back in time when Skynet got defeated, as they sent the first two Terminators back in time? Who knows?
It's a different timeline.
Yeah, I know. It's a new threat. It's a new mission. All that tagline bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. I have like with Fantastic Four, I have no expectation for this film. But the trailers have been pretty good. I'm intrigued. Looks like it's well made. So and it's a planned trilogy. So we're gonna get 2 more of these if this is successful. So.
And you know what? I'm not gonna be surprised if Arnold dies in this one.
And then is gone for good.
And is gone for good. I would not mind if it didn't happen, but again, I wouldn't mind if they stretched it out because I love Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting because I assume this would be the first Terminator movie where he did not die because he has to stay old. He has to stay the same model. Because the whole loophole they found is, this Terminator got sent back 40 years ago, so that's why he looks old. Which is
right.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, I'm saying this Arnold, this T-800, it's from like the 60s or something, right? That's why he looks old. Okay, so you cannot destroy him because that means Arnold won't be in any more movies. So I assume that they would keep him throughout this trilogy.
Well,
that was my thought.
What I'm saying is they might kill him and this, start a new one.
No, I see. I mean, I think they'll hold on to Arnold because they've tried Terminator without Arnold and it has not been as successful. Even though I really liked Salvation. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this. Now, when he jumps into the helicopter, you would think that would destroy his skin, but in the trailer. But he says, I'll be back, so he has to come back. This spot was 30 seconds long, so there's really not much else to say. But
we've talked about 10 minutes on it, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when you're a fan or you have seen the other films or you know what's going on, like, it doesn't matter how much they give you, you can talk about it.
Well, yeah, you're going to analyze every last second. So
yeah, absolutely.
Which brings us to Tomorrowland.
Yay! I'm excited about this film.
Go ahead, Nancy. Take the lead on this, Nancy. You had nothing to say about Terminator, so enlighten us on Tomorrowland.
Sorry. I mean, well, I also don't want to, shoot my mouth off and say shit and then have to recant it when I've seen the film. So I just prefer to keep my opinion to myself on that one. Okay, Tomorrowland. I did not care for the Super Bowl spot. The second trailer, I think it revealed too much. I think they should have just stuck with the first trailer, which I think was really good at instilling a sense of ooh, Tomorrowland. Especially if you didn't know what it was and you were watching it. If you're a big Disney nerd like I am, you may have noticed that was the logo on the pin before she touched it, and then you got really excited because as much as Disney's broken my heart, I still really love Disney. I don't know. We'll see. I have had to dial back my excitement a little bit now that I've seen the second trailer because it is not quite what I hoped it would.
Well, the first one was
a
teaser trailer in the greatest sense of the word.
It was so good. It was so well done.
Introduced a very interesting concept and just kind of left it at that. And you say, "Man, what's that all about? I want to go see that." This one,
I thought it was going to be similar to Meet the Robinsons,
which I love. It's
which
one
is
of my
great.
favorites.
I did not see that.
No. Oh, it's good. We always make fun of me because I have short arms, and so I'm always the T-Rex.
Big head, little arms.
But
yes.
But anyway, I mean, I think they made a very successful, series of movies based on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
True,
so
and everyone thought that was stupid.
Well,
that worked.
I'm glad you brought that up, Steve. So hold up, Tomorrowland, yes, it's a place in Disneyland, but that's the only thing they're borrowing is the word.
Sure.
There's nothing in Tomorrowland is Star Wars and Buzz Lightyear and all kinds of weird stuff.
I think there might be some of. I feel like
the original
when Walt was talking about Tomorrowland, I'm pretty sure they're going to either use his words as dialogue in there somewhere, or they're going to use that sort of nostalgic, optimistic view of Tomorrowland as sort of because as part of the film. But I was thinking, what's the conflict here?
The carousel of progress, right? All that stuff. No, I'm serious. That's that's the only uniquely Tomorrowland ride, I think. And yeah, I think some of the architecture, it is clearly invokes the feel of Tomorrowland at Disneyland, Disney World. So there is that. And you're right. I would hope that they would make this kind of what Walt thought Epcot was going to be, right?
Right, exactly.
Idealistic community of the future.
But again, what is the conflict? Because that's kind of shitty. If you think about it, just what we saw in the trailer, it looks interesting, it looks exciting, but then you're like, okay, what's bad?
Well, I'm actually
what is
glad,
the conflict?
To the same point of the teaser not telling us very much, I'm glad they have not revealed much, because I like going into movies with a blank slate, like, Interstellar. Like I said, when it came after it was all said and done, I wasn't the biggest fan of the movie, but I enjoyed going into it and having no concept of what I was about to experience.
I agree. My point being really that after the first trailer, I thought to myself that it was going to be more of sort of like an exploratory hero's journey type film where the setting was not a character. The setting was just a setting, and the girl was our protagonist, and who knows what she would discover, but it was kind of like her going to Narnia in a sense, like
Mm-hmm.
experiencing it and engaging with it. And now it seems to me like after the second trailer that the big set piece will be Tomorrowland, which I guess makes sense, but I don't know if that would make as good of a film as what I was imagining. But I don't
Hey,
know.
well, the director of Tomorrowland is Brad Bird, and he did The Incredibles, of course. He also did what I think is the best Mission Impossible movie, Ghost Protocol. Um,
That's definitely arguable. It was a freaking amazing movie. So yeah.
yeah. And then he did Iron Giant back in the day. So
Jennifer Aniston.
he's got a great track record. And I'm very excited to see what this movie is. Now, I'm not really sure who George Clooney's character is in all this. Like, he looks like he's like working at a TV studio or something.
They're all gonna, but then he's in a rocket.
Yeah. Well, what's up with the rocket at the end? Like you're right, Nancy. I thought Tomorrowland was gonna be like Narnia or Oz or something like that, right? And yet it's like now we're taking off on a rocket ship to get there. I don't understand that.
I think he's actually going. Tomorrowland is going to be in the future.
Like the future. That's so much worse than the future being an ideal or like a microcosm of an expression. I don't. Ugh, it's hard to explain what I mean, but
I think I understand
that part.
I understand. What I think we're gonna have to wait and see for an actual trailer to get some answers, and we just don't have that at this point.
We need more plot, and I really say that about trailers. I usually complain that trailers take you from point A to point B to point C, and you know
at the end of this movie, George Clooney dies.
Yeah, where's the
to save everyone else?
Where's the death scene with George Clooney in the trailer?
Or the soundtrack from Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon's funeral. Like, shit,
Qui-Gon's noble end, I believe. I remember. I don't know if this was a track on the episode 3 CD, but I remember back in the day, like people were joking, like because of that Qui-Gon death, right? People were like, "Oh man, I can't wait till episode 3 CD comes out. It's gonna say Anakin force chokes Padme." Ha 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 ha. And that was like 1999. And yet 6 years later, what happened? We got Anakin force choking Padme. I'm like, "Wow, thanks a lot." I mean, it was just harmless speculation. But
you're breaking my heart.
You're going down a path I can't follow.
You know what? She tried with the material she had.
No. She was a great actress. Right there, I was making fun of not the acting, but the writing.
I know. But I'm just feeling sorry for her because she had to know it was shit.
Back to Tomorrowland.
Yes.
We're gonna have to wait and see. But what I do want is only one Tomorrowland movie, right?
Right. Yes.
Yes.
And then at the end, she finds another pin in Frontierland. No joke. Like make a trilogy, but it's based on Frontierland.
No.
Fantasyland.
I want Adventureland. I'm gonna go on the Jungle Cruise. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna go to the Tiki Room. I'm gonna see this is truly a Disneyland themed franchise. So.
No, I mean this is great stuff. I mean, I think Tomorrowland. I think you can say all you need to say in one movie, but guess what? You can have a sequel. Just like Zathura was a sequel to Jumanji.
A loose sequel.
Yeah. So, anyway.
And Steve, that's exactly what I thought of when you said that. The end of Jumanji, the book, anyway, where they say, whoa, what's this game? How many, let's see, there, like you said, there's Frontierland, there's Adventureland, there's Fantasyland. I think there's Storybook. Is there Storybook Land, or is that...
There's Fantasyland... I'm on the Wikipedia right now, so just trust me.
I was just there not too long ago, but I can't remember.
There's Tomorrowland, there's Main Street USA, Liberty Square, Frontierland, Fantasyland, and Adventureland. Now that is Walt Disney Resort, Walt Disney World Resort. So, and the Magic Kingdom. So,
okay,
I think that's all good.
You can get 4 or 5 movies out of this. So
easy. So, for our final trailer, we're talking about a Super Bowl trailer. We're going to talk about 50 Shades of Grey. Now, for those of you who have seen Once Upon a Time, you may recognize as Mr. Grey is played by Sheriff Graham from 50...
You're really selling it there, Steve. Good job.
Next, we're going to talk about Jurassic World.
Now, this trailer didn't really show us much more than we had seen before because we've seen a full-length theatrical trailer for Jurassic World. But there was one key thing in this trailer I think we all agree with.
That is correct. It showed the most important thing that we needed more clarification on. It's a trained posse of security velociraptors. There's nothing else that happened in your life that's that cool. I mean, if we're just going for cool factor, right?
I mean, can we all agree that while we each have our favorite dinosaurs, mine's the Triceratops. I love that shit. Velociraptor is the best.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I mean,
there's so much more to do
cool.
with them.
They think they can outmaneuver you. They can outthink you.
They're like killer dolphins.
Well, yeah, that's the parallel here. He's like a dolphin trainer, you know.
Yeah,
and,
he definitely. Yeah, they have like that snaps. What's it called when it's like not a scene? I guess it's like a moment. Whatever.
Snapshot.
Thank you. God, my brain today. Yeah, we have that snapshot of him, and he's like, you can see that he's training them. They're following his hand, where he's moving his hand around. Oh my god!
Yeah, and they
something
are
like we have to give them everything we've got, and then they like come running out of their cages. I was like, oh my god!
And I think a lot of people will criticize that, like, oh, he's training the dinosaurs. Well, of course he is. I mean, like they're super intelligent. So if you just approach it the right way, I'm sure he's probably the fourth or fifth guy that has the job because they probably
right, exactly. Well, and they've probably been selectively breeding the velociraptors to get to a point where you could train them,
right?
You know what I mean? Like this is the other storyline, right? More or less. Like, what if Jurassic Park had succeeded and not fallen into shambles?
I really hope that they explore, and I think they will, because it's such a hot topic. It's like all those questions of like, okay, this is like, do we have like a SeaWorld Blackfish situation here? Of the animals in captivity, and that's part of playing God. A, making the dinosaurs, and then B, keeping them for your own entertainment. It's different than a zoo because it's like, as you see, that there's a clear SeaWorld parallel with the mosasaur scene. It's like it's harmless fun, but then it's like, hey, these are dangerous animals, and if something happens, I mean, obviously a whale is not going to get out and massacre you at SeaWorld, but these animals, dinosaurs, you see the pteranodons, attacking the crowd. I mean, that's what they do.
Here's an interesting thing. Between Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3, we kind of discovered about dinosaurs, like, hey, guess what? Dinosaurs had feathers. Like, we've kind of found that out. And so they started incorporating that in. So the raptors from Jurassic Park 3 had a sort of a feather hair thing going on. And these look just like the ones from the Jurassic Park 1, which is, I mean, I understand why they did it because they're an iconic look.
Yeah, that's why. Hollywood is why.
Totally.
But it's just kind of interesting. They're like, oh, yeah, that was, we actually dropped some Big Bird into the mix, so it's okay.
Now, I will say the special effects look better than they did in the first trailer.
Yes.
So that's to be expected. I mean, they're going to render more and do some more work on them, so that's good. Because, to be honest, I was like, when I saw a lot of the special effects in the first trailer, I was like, man, this stuff looked better in 1993.
For real.
But
no, it looks good, especially that opening like SeaWorld-esque scene looked way better. There's like that comparison online. It looks
Yes. Have you seen it? Like, someone has done an A/B comparison of the trailer shot to shot, and they look very different, which is great. That means they're not settling for what they've done. They're trying their best to perfect it. Because Jurassic Park, I mean, let's be honest, special effects is the main attraction here. I mean, the stories are great and they're great movies and stuff, but people go to see dinosaurs. So
I do have one thing to complain about in terms of the plot from what we see. Okay, so like, yay, we have a dinosaur theme park. Okay, we're going to start making dinosaurs because that sounds fun. Why would the first thing that you make be a carnivore?
Yeah,
why would you do that? Like, that makes no sense.
Well,
what's
that's
their
just
purpose?
plain old hubris.
We don't
make
know
sense.
that. We don't really know the story.
It might have been the
that.
first successful hybrid.
Yes, or
But
maybe.
oh no, then these like frog genes, those pesky
Dino
frogs.
DNA.
No. But look, hey, what's one of their biggest attractions from this trailer? Literally, they have
That's very true.
A shark being eaten by a big, huge, gigantic fish thing.
It's a mosasaur, Steve.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
And I mean, that's
I pride myself on my dinosaur knowledge.
Yes.
Clearly people are, as humans, as Americans, which is this is built for us, rich white Americans, that we're wanting to see that kind of stuff. So of course they're going to make it so that it's some ridiculous vicious creature because that's what we want
It's
to
like,
see.
oh, here, come see the Godzillasaurus feeding or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Now,
It's
I'm
stupid, but
disappointed. I'm disappointed it didn't have wings because that would have been awesome.
I'm disappointed that pterodactyl that swoops down and picks up that lady, and I like punched the air and was like, "Yeah!" Like that was awesome.
well, a
It didn't have
pterodactyl isn't
feathers,
a
but
dinosaur.
Yeah, they're actually neither is a mosasaur, but let's
They're
so
pterosaurs.
how did the mosquito bite the mosasaur? I'm just saying. I know I have heard some criticism of like why you have to make new dinosaurs. There's literally hundreds of dinosaurs. I'm like, well, the mosquitoes they found only bit so many dinosaurs, you know. So I'm sure they found other mosquitoes since that
especially
original.
since they're not adhering to having only,
Jurassic
dinosaurs
era.
from the Jurassic era. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The
Well, actually,
Cretaceous Park just doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
the
Would have been accurate.
T Rex live closer to us than to the Stegosaurus.
Correct. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of, but you know what? Normal people who are not dinosaur nerds do not know that. So
Yeah. I mean,
They don't
let's
care.
let's get real.
Dinosaur.
Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park series is still by far
so good.
the most scientifically accurate of any dinosaur interpretation we've ever seen. So
Are there a lot of those?
no, I'm saying dinosaurs
Zach's
in
seen
movies.
them all.
Listen, there are lots of dinosaur movies. Trust me, and
Yeah.
Jurassic Park by far actually takes the subject matter seriously. There's so much potential in this movie. I really hope it delivers because I'm very excited
Yeah, I'm
for
trying
it.
to keep my expectations lower.
Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it was a formative film of all of our youths. So you're messing around on sacred ground here. So, and I know the sequels didn't live up to the classic status of the original, but of all these movies, I think this is by far the one we're looking forward to.
Of all of the movies this year, including Star Wars, I'm most excited about Jurassic World.
Oh crap! Star Wars comes out in December, doesn't it?
That's what they say.
So, Steve, you have a little rant you want to go on about Daredevil.
I do. It's not about Daredevil because I've seen this a lot.
Right.
Back in the day, you would go to a movie and you would see the trailer and you'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see the Mask of Zorro," and then it's going to come out like a year later. Okay, but they had like a full trailer that was for Mask of Zorro, and it literally was like a year later. I remember that one specifically because I was like, "When is this movie coming out? This is going to be the best movie of all time!"
That was a good movie.
It was a good movie. Anthony Hopkins is a Mexican, perfect.
I never saw the sequel though.
No one did.
I got a big Mummy Returns vibe from it, so I just steered clear.
What? Mummy Returns was amazing.
Wow, that's a discussion for another day.
So today, I find out that tomorrow we're going to see a teaser trailer for Daredevil, the new Netflix series. So there was a preview for the teaser trailer. What the fuck is the problem? It's just like, what? Just tell me it's tomorrow. Just put up a sentence on the thing. Don't show me something. What the fuck is that shit? I don't need to see. I don't need to waste 15 seconds of my day looking at fucking just a scene of some guy in a mask. This is dumb.
I completely agree with you, Steve. It's getting ridiculous to the point of like, why don't we just cut the 3-minute trailer into 5-second bits and release it every day for a month, and then you can watch it all together at the end of the month. Because
the teaser trailer
they're going to be listening
trilogy.
for marketing purposes.
The hype machine has gotten just out of control for these promotional.
Yes.
Did you watch it though?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be more. I don't know.
It's so underwhelming that it's almost. I don't know.
You watched it as well?
Yeah, I mean, but.
I just couldn't afford the 15 seconds.
It
so
almost feels like overkill to say watch because it was like 10 seconds.
Why don't you wait till tomorrow and see the whole thing in proper context? So. But speaking of 10-second teasers.
Here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the segue. Also, the last thing we'll talk about this episode is the Heroes Reborn Super Bowl teaser. Now, it literally was only 10 seconds long. It opened up like on this Arctic environment, and you see this little girl. I assume it's a little girl. Maybe I don't know why I assume that. It could be a little boy or a person of small stature. In an Eskimo get up, and they are controlling the Aurora Borealis, and you see an eclipse, and then you pan back, and then you see its horn-rimmed glasses, and he's like, "What?" And it's Heroes Reborn. He goes, "Wah," or whatever. You know what I mean. that the
hero
heroes,
yep.
the heroes theme, the heroes squall.
Yes.
I'm excited for Heroes Reborn. I'm glad that they had a Super Bowl spot and it gave people awareness that it's happening. I'm excited for it. I think it's great, and I'm especially glad they got Horner and Glasses back to kind of tie it all together.
What kind of purpose would being able to control auroras do?
Well,
no, that's just cool. I mean, it could come in. I'm just like,
but that was my
Noah
my
Bennett
first.
died. Did he not die or something?
No, he did not.
HRG? No.
So he's
Horner Glasses man.
Spoiler: Jack Coleman is the actor. Yeah, at first I was like, controlling the Aurora Borealis. I mean, other than controlling Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's nose, I'm really not sure what advantage that can give you. But maybe she's like a storm. This is why I assume it's a girl. I think maybe it's like Storm. Like you control the weather. Maybe that's her.
Maybe
because we never had a hero that controlled the weather because that would just be stupid.
It would. That has nothing to do with a person.
Nothing genetically involved.
Even if they could, it would only be in like a 4-foot radius around their person, because who can really manipulate something like the weather?
Right. I mean, when you have hundreds of mutants, though, you really have to start. But Storm was one of the first ones.
Start reaching.
There's really no excuse.
Well, no, guys, it's a fucking cool power. That's why it exists. Because that'd be the coolest shit ever. Like Augustus Winter.
Well, sure. Yeah. Okay. But
the Avengers.
Well. Are you guys going to watch Heroes Reborn?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, of course you are.
I like the show.
It's a mini-series.
I've forgiven it.
And you know what? I mean, it's a good concept, so whatever.
I mean, I think hopefully by now they would have learned from their mistakes.
I will say that the coolest, my favorite hero was that chick who could watch a video and she could match it exactly, and so they gave her like an iPod with a whole bunch of videos on it, and she that was the coolest freaking power ever, and then she just dies.
Well, no, she doesn't die. She got written out of the show after season 2, the writer's strike, and they decided to kind of erase season 2.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
which
right.
is garbage because
they were like,
of course
Nichelle Nichols needs to go.
Yeah, Nichelle Nichols was her grandma, and she was Micah's cousin. And they just wrote her out of season 3 for some reason. So it's a shame because you're right.
My favorite character.
You're right. That's Copycat should have been her name. That would have been an awesome name for if this was X-Men, her name would be Copycat. But
alas.
Yeah, I heard or read online that Zachary Quinto was approached to come back and he turned it down.
Yeah.
I love Zachary Quinto. I love the character of Sylar, but I'm very glad that he turned him down because Sylar is played out. Okay,
yeah,
like I was talking earlier about Loki, Sylar. So that actually concerns me that Tim Kring was like, "Oh yeah, we gotta get Sylar in this. Let's ask Zach if he wants to do it." Like, no.
Exactly.
That is
Thank you for bringing that up.
That is concerning that was even on the table. Now Peter should have come back. I'm very disappointed Peter Petrelli is not going to be back because if there was a main character of Heroes, that was him.
What is he doing to it lately? Really?
Well, he was on this show Mob City on TNT. Look, I'm just telling you what. I'm telling you what the guy's been doing. Okay, I think he would have been available, I mean, you can't do, to me, honestly, as much as I am saying I don't want Sylar back, you really can't do Heroes without either of those guys because they were the yin and the yang of Heroes. And we never got that climactic final battle we always wanted between the two of them either. So, maybe this miniseries will be successful and they can do like a TV movie at the very end of it and tie everything together. I don't know. But obviously, Jack Coleman's going to be back. Like we said, Noah Bennett. I don't think anyone else is coming back, though.
Here's the thing. I think what the storyline's going to be... Do we know anything about the story? I don't think so.
No, we know nothing. No.
So what I would write the story is... so at the very end of Heroes, Claire shows everyone. Mm-hmm. So the world knows now. So this world is a world where everyone knows about these people with these powers. So I think it's going to be very much like you have Noah Bennett, who I don't know, was he good by the end?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe he's.
He always was good.
Yeah. We just didn't know it. No, we just didn't know it as the audience. Yeah.
He was a company man, Steve.
Yeah,
there we go.
But I think we have like the government versus, basically there's going to be the heroes that aren't bad, but they're fighting basically civil war.
Well, now that that actually was the first half of the second half of season 3, which is volume 4. But Nathan was rounding up all the heroes and stuff, but no one really outside of that department, no one knew that people with powers existed. I don't know how much continuity they're going to address here, because if you have Bennett, you have to explain where Claire is, right? Because that was like, he did everything for his daughter, so you have to explain that somehow, and you have to explain where's Peter and where's Hero and where are all these super-powered beings. If truly people are being persecuted by the government or whatever, like, somebody like Hero can step in and solve all the problems. So they have a lot of delicate questions to answer, and I don't think they're going to want to bog themselves down with all that continuity if they're trying to truly reboot the series. So, but no, that sounds like a great angle. I think that's, like you said, Steve, the government, wanting to round up the heroes and at least, identify them, much like Marvel Civil War. I mean, that's just a logical thing to do. If you got people walking around who can like turn into nuclear bombs or can like shoot electricity or control computers, like you need to know who you're dealing with here. But anyway, I'm excited about it. It's a good concept, and I'm glad they're keeping some continuity with Bennett. If they just did a reboot, I'd be kind of pissed. So it's a mini series. So like, I don't know if this is like going to be the start of like a 13 episodes this year and next year, kind of like Sherlock kind of thing, or it's going to be just a one-off mini series. Now, if it's successful, they're obviously going to want to do more. So maybe you can bring back more characters then. But I think having a set limit of episodes and a story to tell will serve the story very well. Because the first season was, the original plan was, we're going to do this first season with all these characters, we're going to wrap up the story, and we're going to do a whole nother set of characters for the next season. Maybe with one or two returning characters for continuity's sake. So, ironically, Tim Craig is finally being able to do the season 2 he always wanted to do when NBC forced him to keep all the characters and the stories going.
Right.
Because that was the inherent flaw in the original series. Like, those characters were designed to be one season, complete their character arc, and then never be heard from again.
Yeah, that's why the first season was so good.
Yeah, and then when you have to go past happily ever after, so to speak, that's when stuff gets bad.
It's true.
So yeah, there it is, guys. So, well, cool. It's been fun talking about trailers this week. We will be back next week talking about something else. We'll figure it out off microphone. But lots of cool stuff. Like I'm excited. Everything we talked about, I'm excited about. So I have no rants, no nerd rage this week. It's fun. It's nice to just be optimistic about things and have things to look forward to. It's such an odd sensation. So
it really is.
Cool, guys. Well, I'm Zach.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Nancy.
And we don't break the news, but we do break it down. I think maybe Bryce Dallas Howard might. Who was the girl in Deep Blue Sea who died at the end?
You know what? That's funny you mention that, because obviously I've been thinking about it since you sent that picture. But
yeah.
I don't know who she is. No one does. It was her. No, her and the main dude were kind of like no names.
I think
that
was Thomas Jane, wasn't it?
Who the fuck is Thomas Jane?
He was the Punisher, man. The first
the what?
one. The Punisher.
Oh, why? That's right. He was. Okay, no, seriously. If you're this is the issue with the cast of Deep Blue Sea. This is the big names. Samuel L. Jackson, number 1. LL Cool J, number 2. You're going so far. Number 3, Michael Rappaport. If Michael Rappaport's the third biggest name in your movie, you're not doing it for the cast.
How do I know him?
I love that movie.
What else is he in? He sounds familiar.
Michael Rappaport? Oh, man, he's in everything.
Okay.
Seriously.
Point taken, Steve.
He's Michael fucking Rappaport. Look him up, man. Look him up.
Well, anyway.
Just mind your business. Just mind your business.
And you know how the female scientist dies and then a Deep Blue Sea. I think maybe Bryce Dallas Howard might die at the end of this to redeem herself.
Spoilers.
She was the one. Well, it's speculation, man. Can't speculate about movies.
No. Deep Blue Sea spoilers.
Okay, whatever.
Oh, Lord.
That movie does not deserve a spoiler warning.
No, first of all, that movie's great, so don't talk about it like it's bad.
It is a good movie. I agree.
I love the fact that, like, at the end of the movie, the two people that survive are the black guy, which is weird, and another dude. Like, it's just like they're two dudes. No, because usually it's all you would expect it was going to be the chick and the guy and the white guy,
right.
But no, it was LL Cool J, because LL Cool J
and his amazing parrot.
Yeah, right.
Well, the end of Deep Blue Sea forget the end. The best scene in the movie by far is Samuel L. Jackson's death scene. Spoiler. I'm not gonna tell you when it happens though. So.
I disagree.
I disagree. I haven't laughed that hard in a non-comedy movie my entire life. Okay, that was amazing.
Wow, what a statement. Okay.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
The first thing we gotta do is close eye.
No, the best part is, let's begin with the perfect omelet, which has 2 eggs, not 3. Most people add milk. This is a mistake.
This is a mistake.
LL Cool J acted the shit out of that film, and it's awesome. I'm
gonna go see if that's on Netflix because I really have a desire to watch that movie now.
It used to be. I don't think it is anymore. I know it used to be because I watched it during my MBA graduation because those things are long, and so I had my phone out and I was watching Deep Blue Sea. Fuck yeah!